Alright, welcome back to another exciting session here of Unity 3D development with Johnny Rush. We are going to showcase a new area that I've been working on. This is actually location F in our map. For those of you who have been following along, we showed a layout of our map, and the area to the far west of the map of the island was location F. And anyways, I decided to do a castle-inspired location here, and I always did like castles and things like that from that era of the Knights of the Round Table and all that stuff. So I wanted to go ahead and work on an area that had a castle-inspired environment, and it's a work in progress. I just started this. Let me show you about how much room it took up. Let's zoom out here. It wound up being a lot larger than I had anticipated. I wound up having to redo the terrain to level it out quite a bit. As you can see, it's nice and flat here. This is the area that was really like mountainous and bumpy all the way through here, and a lot worse than what that is. If we zoom in, that's even been kind of smoothed out a little bit, but pretty rough terrain here. Made it very difficult to walk through, but anyways, I wound up flattening this out, making it a plateau, and I put this castle scene here. Now I found a free, it was kind of a free kit that included some sections or pieces that you can take and kind of build something with it. It was kind of lacking staircases, really, which I was kind of disappointed. They go through all this trouble to provide a pretty cool setup here with these pieces that you can lay out any way you want, but once you lay it out, there's actually all the walking area is at the very top of the balcony, and inside each area, like this building you see here with the peaks, they have stairwells and windows and an area you can walk through in different rooms, and as you can see over here from the side view, but with it being so high up, you can't get to it. So I had to come up with I guess using what I had, just an interesting way to do that, or a creative way, I should say. Not interesting, but creative. And so I wound up just taking this wooden ramp that was included with this, and as well as we zoom in over here, they provided these kind of like stairs you can resize. So it's a one piece. I wound up putting it on both sides because in order for our player to be able to walk through these openings, I had to scale it up, and by the time I scaled it up, he couldn't jump high enough to get over this edge, so I had to utilize the stairs they had to allow it where he can actually walk up and come up here. So I made, let me just kind of zoom through here to show you what this looks like. We'll do a quick pass through. Yeah, you can see there's different rooms, and you can walk up through and peek out, and it's pretty cool. And so I created one of these ramped areas on each side, so you come up either side, and once you're up here on top, then you can walk around and walk up and get to these areas. At least zoom up a little bit. At least the outer circular area, as well as this right here. Let's hit Y here. Yeah, as well as this area here, and then this area here. Now these other areas are just really decorative, just to fill the space. I'll probably look at doing something different maybe at a later point, but I kind of was thinking about putting a giant dragon maybe right here in the center, chained to maybe the ground and some kind of anchor. Maybe have it where you come within this zone. There's gotta fight a giant dragon. But anyways, so this area will be a somewhat castle inspired area. Now they did include, well, actually didn't include. I found these knights, and they have it. They had an animation on them where they would rotate in place, but I kind of disabled that. It was kind of silly, but I used them as props at the doorway. One kind of on each side of the door, facing in outward. I mean, looking at an angle toward the guest as they would walk through. And I just want to show this off. We're really not going to do a whole lot on today's stream. Mainly just show what this area looks like. So I had to readjust the player spawn location. Of course, we have location F active so that you can see what this looks like. It's a pretty huge castle when you look at it. So looking at those giant knights standing at the entrance. Yeah, so let's go ahead and run in. I do have one enemy here, but I'm going to, once I get kinks worked out of him, I'm having issues again with the animation like I did with the other one. I need to, I don't know why it worked on the tiger, the first one, but you know, I tried another enemy here, a different one. I'm having the same issue. He'll move around. The animations just don't take. And what I have here is actually a skeleton. Let's see if we can. If he takes a single step, he does follow. But the animations for walking and running, it just sucks. It doesn't work. So. So I'm going to keep running. I want to see if I can escape from this thing. Nope, he is still following me. Anyway, I'll do a quick walkthrough. Yeah, to show you the view. So over here, of course, you've got this side of the wall you can look through. All the walls are like that inner wall. Let's walk up here. Be a pretty good fall. I'm sure he'd take half, at least 50% damage on that fall. Let's go in here and I'll show you what this looks like as we walk through. Actually, it's a dead end on this side. But we go up these stairs here. There's another flight of stairs. Goes up like 2 levels. Third flight. Yeah, so every one of these towers that you see with the blue roof, with the peaks, tiles, blue tiles, will have this layout here. Alright, so let's get back down there. Back down. Alright, so we lost him. He eventually took off. Alright, so yeah, the entire outer wall is like this. You have this area you can walk through. And I hadn't really put any I hadn't, spawned any items yet. I just spent time kind of building the structure, which took a while. Through an enemy. If I get the skeletons working, I'm going to have more of them in here. They'll be like patrolling this outer perimeter. So this here is kind of like the tower entrance. You got two sides of the same. I need to actually come through this section here and put the stairs on both sides. So that's what I was referring to. You can't actually jump high enough to get up there. With the scaling I had to do to get the doorways to look, well, they are a little bit high. I could have shrunk them down, but I wanted some room to walk through and didn't want the camera to get all wacky going through walls and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's a pretty good size area. All right, so now we're on the other side here. Okay, stamina runs out very quickly here. You definitely would want to have a bunch of stamina packs there because there's like no way to run or outrun the goblin. You would run out definitely of stamina. Let's just drop down here. And so yeah, in the center here we just have these tall structures, which eventually I'll work something out, like build some kind of winding ladder, maybe around the outside, or just a ladder that that I can climb to get right up to the top. I'm surprised he didn't come down, that skeleton. But yeah, anyways, it's a massive area. Huge. It's probably the largest area yet. I had anticipated the seaside being the biggest, but this is a pretty big castle. There's no music, no sound effects yet. I need to implement at least the definitely the steps. I already have, like, the bullet sound when you fire, some 3D spatial music, as you approach the other areas. I'd like to have something here in the castle, something that's kind of themed toward this. Yeah, so that's our castle area. It's pretty massive, very massive. So I just wanted to showcase that, just to have some more content up. It looked like it had been 4 days since I streamed, and to be honest with you, I haven't done anything with this the last 2 days. Um, since the last stream, I just decided to do this area. I worked on this, and when I stopped, that was it. I hadn't really done anything with it. But I do want to figure out the animation on these characters. I really don't want to move forward, too much further with developing areas, even though we need the areas developed until we can get the AI worked out on some of this. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just do it in the end, because like I said before, we do need an environment to work in. The environment really is independent of the enemy. What do we have it, you know. So I need to really look closely at what I did with the tiger and see what I'm missing here on these. The only difference that the only difference I see right now, I need to take a close look at the code that we use for moving our enemies, and that is the capsule collider that's on the tiger. Because the tiger's walking on all fours, the capsule collider was tilted 90 degrees on the x-axis, and so the code that was written may have been written in a way to work with the capsule collider in that position. I guess one way for me to fix that or test that theory is to just change the direction of the capsule collider on the enemy, even though it wouldn't be correct. Just flip it in the horizontal direction and see if the animations start working. If they do, then that's what it is. The code is set up to work with a horizontal facing capsule collider. So I'll look at that and see if we can't get this working right. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that while I have you watching. Let me just bring up this video here, our little live video. Okay, great. Let me just bring up this video here, our little live. I think my audio is kind of messed up. My kittens have been grabbing, clawing, and chewing at my microphone cable. So I apologize if the audio is scratchy or garbly, or if it's really cutting in and out very bad. I also realized just now my mic piece was still facing upward on my headset. I just pulled it down, so that may have been the issue as well. All right, so let's look at this real quick. What I said I wanted to do was look at the enemies here. And so let's look at our skeleton. This capsule collider. What I'm talking about is this direction. If we look at the tiger, it's on the Z. I said it was on the Z axis. So let's change the skeleton just for shits and giggles here. Okay, we're going to set it to the Z. And then we're going to hit play. And so everything else is the same. I mean, I looked item for item, or component for component. It's all the same. What I added to the skeleton and the goblin compared to what was on our tiger, that works. The only thing that was different that I noticed for sure, I've had an issue with the two enemies I've chosen, other than the tiger. I've had issues with the animations when they were imported. I was saying the animations were incompatible in the current format, and I had to change it to either generic or humanoid, and then import them. And so under the rig setting, so I did that, but it's possible that the animations just are not compatible with the new mechanism system. Well, let's see. I'm hoping they work fine. No, I see him kind of, he looks stationary to me. He's just standing there, stuck in the wall. I guess I'll have to get to his zone. Yeah, he's just kind of sliding. See, the attack works. He does certain animations, but it just, for some reason, it just doesn't work right. I'll need to look into that. So, let's change that back. We just found out that didn't really make a difference. Let's take a quick glance at our tiger. See if we're missing anything. Tiger, idle, avatar, animated. Do we have an avatar on these? Skeleton. Goblin. Avatar, yeah. Yeah, so they're apply root motion. Let's see, I know what I wanted to look at though. Yeah, that one's on always animate normal. Not this was normal, call update transform. Let's check applied root motion. That's the way I set that one up. Oh, maybe we just need to remove that. Let's try it. I guess we need to try to say, but what I was looking for was there's an option where the rig is, and I'm trying to remember. I think it's when the animator window's open. The other thing is I may not see it unless I have, whoops, have one in here. All right, so we're going to look at our tiger. We're going to look at tiger mesh. Okay, the rig. Let's just turn that off for a second. They actually had animation here. Let's enable that. Well, let's delete these. I don't want to do it to the original. So uncheck that. Let's go here, enable that. Skeleton animator. Let's see. Yeah, I was trying to put it on the root game object just like I had set up the other one, but that may be part of the issue because of the way these animations were done. It's like he takes one, he does one iteration of the animation, and it doesn't like loop, for example, while he's moving. It just does it one time. So he's just sliding. All right, so let's stop that. But anyways, that's what I need to work on. But I did want to showcase our castle. That's the direction I'm moving with this. Yeah, if we zoom out here on the scene, again, you can see the size it took up. When looking at this area here, I thought was going to be massive here. It's really nothing compared to this. I mean, this is definitely bigger overall because of the openness. Yeah, so my goal is to work on the animation part and figure out what's going on. If those are not models that I can use if it has an old animation setup and an old rig that's not going to work, I may have to switch them out. So I'll figure it out and work on it, and hopefully be able to show you the working animations on both the goblin and the skeleton on the next stream, which I'll definitely do as soon as I get that worked out. I'll do it. I don't want to wait too long. I will do another stream, and if I can't get it figured out in a couple of days, I'll move on to something else and just keep this project going, and we'll come back to that. Like I said, I may try a different. I need to go back to the rig. I'll have to re-import and look at the rig setup and make sure the import settings are set up correctly. That could be where it's failing, is during the import process there may have been some options I needed to turn on. So I'll have to check that. Anyways, thanks again for viewing. This one will be a short one, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.